Vaughn and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be getting into some fitness talk. If you're new, we do vlogs around here every Sunday, but every now and then I'll pop in the middle of the week and just dive a little bit deeper into different topics that require a little bit more discussion. So that's what we're doing today. So definitely come back around here on Sunday to watch my regular content. So I wanted to talk to you guys about fitness, right? I am 6 months postpartum and I had posted on my community tab and asked you guys if you had any questions about my fitness journey and how I was able to lose the baby weight. And you guys asked a lot of good questions. I got like 110 comments and there was some really good questions in there. So what we'll do today is we'll address those questions. But first, I want to give you guys a little bit of background on like sort of my fitness lifestyle kind of as it stands. And then I'll get a little bit into my why, and then we'll move into the questions. How's that for an organized format? Because these Q&A videos can be like a mess. So I just want to keep it so that you guys can easily find the answers to the questions as you watch this. So I'll just start off by telling you guys a little bit of my background. Admittedly, I've never been too much overweight. I've always kind of maintained a healthy weight. When I was younger, I was always really active. I was never like into any kind of like sports or anything, but I did do naval ROTC, kind of following in my dad's footsteps with the whole like military thing. And speaking of my dad, he was a big inspiration for me my entire life, especially when I was younger though, when it came to fitness, because I always wanted to kind of do the physical things that he could do. So my dad was like really big on like calisthenics. I think that's the way you say it. He could do a lot of push-ups and a lot of pull-ups. So I always wanted to kind of do that too. So my whole life, I kind of always chased after the idea of being strong, being able to move, being able to run, lift things, you know, kind of like a thing of being independent and just wanting to like get things done. And so that kind of was the motivation behind always kind of seeking fitness. But there were a couple instances in my life where I did kind of get a little bit overweight, and we will talk about that. I've had to kind of deliberately lose weight 3 times in my life. 2 of those instances were post-pregnancy, and then one of them was just me kind of falling off during the pandemic. If you hear some footsteps, y'all, it's my 120-pound Cane Corso playing around here, roaming around the house, so excuse that. So just to start us off, I am 41 years old and I have given birth to 2 children. I had an uneventful labor and delivery, so like no tears, no complications, no issues. I started working out again at 6 weeks postpartum, but before that I did have to take some time to recover from severe hemorrhoids, okay? When you have a vaginal delivery, that's usually comes with the package. I also did work out during my pregnancy, more so on the front end of the pregnancy. The bigger I got, I was dealing with severe, at least that's what I want to say, severe shortness of breath. When I first started back working out, it was very difficult because my muscles were all weak. Nothing worked the way I was used to it working, and I couldn't really run. I couldn't jump, but I did what I could. And then gradually over time, every week you notice a difference. You notice higher endurance. You get a little bit stronger. You're able to keep up with the workouts. So it's really about trusting the process and just keep going. It's going to get easier. I won't say easier, I'll say sweeter. It's going to get sweeter. So since this is a postpartum discussion, let me give you guys my pregnancy stats, okay? So I gave birth to my second daughter in August of 2023. When I went to deliver, I was 157 pounds, which is the exact same weight I was when I was pregnant with my first daughter, y'all. So in general, I gained 30 pounds during my pregnancy. Typically, I lose like the first 20 pounds straight away, right? I leave 10 pounds at the hospital and then I lose like another 10 just running around being a mom to a newborn, right? But that last 10, that last 10 always seems to linger a little bit and I have to actually work to get it off. So those are my stats, right? Now here's my why. But before we go into the why, I kind of want to just speak to the elephant that's always looming, right? Around these kind of postpartum weight loss fitness conversations, right? We have a tendency to want to tell women what to prioritize in their postpartum experience. Every woman is going to be different. Every woman is going to have different challenges right at the beginning of the postpartum era. Telling women to just accept these new bodies that they don't recognize necessarily is just nasty work. Okay, every time I do a video like this and I talk about weight loss, especially in the postpartum, I always have to deal with, you need to be healing, you need to be focused on the baby, you don't need to worry about weight and all that. And that's fine if that worked for you. But for the women out there who are well, both mentally and physically, and they want to get back fit, they want to feel strong, they want to lose that baby weight, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And I'm just gonna say it, you do not have to accept your body after having a baby if you don't want to, okay? I'm just gonna say it. For those those of you who do, I think that's great, but there's a group of women who don't. They want to take back control of their bodies and they want to get back fit. For me, the extra baby weight was putting me over my comfort level. So it was a huge deal for me to get back to what I was used to. The most important thing to overcome when you've had a baby is your mental health, right? You need to be in a place where you're happy about what's happening around you so that you can show up and be the best mom to that baby, continue to be the best wife, and continue to mother the children you already have. If fitness is going to do that for you, I think it should be prioritized, and I think people should not stand in your way. We love telling women that they don't know what they're doing, and I just think that is counterproductive. It's not empowering. I always say, you know, women can be CEOs, they can be boss babes, they can be wives, they can be single moms, they can do anything they want until they get pregnant, and then they don't know anything. I think we need to stop taking the power away from women just because they're pregnant, but I'm just wanting to do my part in normalizing postpartum fitness and telling women that it is okay to want to change. So let's get into some of you guys' questions here. Okay, someone asked a really, really good question. So here's this first one. That's a really good question, because here's the thing. I do not rely on motivation or energy. I don't rely on that because it's not reliable, okay? That's why I take pre-workout and I lean on routine. Routine, because if I can make something a habit, I can do it mindlessly, right? Think about a person who works in an assembly line in a plant. When they first started working there, they were very conscious of what they were doing each step of the way. You gotta put this piece here, put that piece there. They were probably using their thinking skills a lot in the beginning. Give it a month or two, those people can do that with their eyes closed. You see what I'm saying? That's how I approach fitness, as a routine. I've committed to doing HIIT. I go to a local HIIT gym and they have multiple classes throughout the day that you can sign up for and show up for. It's a monthly subscription type of thing. And I've committed to going to one of the morning classes every single day for 5 days a week. I have my clock set automatically. I don't have to set the clock every night. It's automatically set to go off at the time I need to get up. I have my routine. I get my water bottle. I fill it with water and ice. I get my pre-workout going. You know what I mean? And I'm out the door. I don't have to think. All I have to do is get up and do. So if my mind is somewhere else, I'm thinking about my goals, I'm thinking about what my children are gonna take for lunch, I don't have to think about the gym. I just go. And it's only 30 minutes and I do that 5 days a week. Now here's the other thing, okay? If I fall short of the 5 days a week, at least I can do 4, or at least I can do 3. Whatever it is, 5 is my goal. But even if I fall short, I'm still doing good. So I wanna say, as far as like workout morale, give yourself that flexibility to where when you do fall short, not if, but when you fall short of the vision that you have for that week, you will still be in a safe place where you're like, all right, well, I still did really well. Because it's a lot of psychology involved in getting fit. And what you don't want to do is beat up on yourself or not give yourself that room for error. Because if you start to feel like you're failing and you're letting yourself down, and everything else is going to play out in how you show up. And a lot of times it'll make you just want to quit because you feel like you're just not good enough for it. It is really hard finding time to work out when you're a busy mother, a busy wife, a busy entrepreneur, right? Whatever it is that you do. But as with anything in life, right? You have a tendency to prioritize the things that are important to you. So I think, you know, we got to take a step back, right? When it comes to fitness, we have to first realize that it is one of the most important things we could be doing for ourselves in terms of having your me time, in terms of thinking about your health long term. I think once we do that, we can start to see fitness as a non-negotiable. And once we get to that point, we can then arm ourselves against any of the distractions that are trying to interfere with those goals. So it's not just about aesthetics, right? We ain't just in the gym because we want to look fine and things like that. Some people have that goal and that's fine. But for me, at my big age, it's really about sticking around for a while for my family, okay? And I'm only gonna be able to do that if I am healthy. It doesn't matter how much money I have, it doesn't matter how many cars, how many houses, how many vacations you go on, or how good you look in that dress. If you're unhealthy, you will not be around long. And I think that's what's most important for me. Yeah, we all wanna look good, right? But I need to be healthy so I can pick up my children when I'm playing with them, I can keep up with them on the playground, and I can enjoy those vacations with my husband. some people just want to know, how do you do it? How did you do it? Like, just in a brief summary, elevator pitch, how did you do it? Well, if I had to summarize and give you guys just a quick, explanation, I would say I prioritized my me time, right? My gym time is my me time. I prioritized protein and I prioritized sleep. The sleep one was the one that I wasn't that aware of until recently, okay? But you gotta prioritize sleep. That is when the muscles are recovering, and that's what's going to give you your energy to tackle the same thing the next day. I had to start prioritizing sleep. Y'all, I used to be one of those people who stayed up to 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do things with, getting my daughter ready for school and that kind of thing. That used to be me. I was running off an average of about 5 hours of sleep a night. Not only does it age you and make you look tired and older, right? But it also is getting in the way of you accomplishing your fitness goals. Whether it's toning and looking more slim, losing weight, being stronger, it will get in the way of all of those things. And you will start to notice that you're lagging in progress. Like, you feel like you kind of plateaued and you're like, what's happening? You're probably not getting enough sleep or protein. But whatever it is, you have to do a self-audit and kind of evaluate your habits and see where the problem lies, because it's usually hiding somewhere in your routine. If you need help going to sleep, sometimes you got to take a sleep aid. Sometimes you got to take some ashwagandha, some melatonin, whatever it takes to get you to wind down at night. Sometimes that means drinking a hot cup of tea, watching your favorite Netflix, a calming documentary or something. Sometimes it's scrolling social media, or sometimes refraining from scrolling social media. Whatever it is that will help relax you so that you can wind down for the night, you need to be prioritizing that. So getting fit sometimes, you guys, looks a lot like a selfish thing, because you're like, look, it's about me right now. This era in my life is about me. And sometimes that can come off as looking selfish to people who are not as in tune with taking care of themselves. And I really love this question, y'all, because here's the thing, none, okay? And when I say none, I'm saying no to sit-ups, crunches, whatever. I don't do those exercises anymore, right? When I was postpartum with my first daughter, I was hyper-focused on laying down on the floor and doing the crunches, doing the sit-ups, and just really trying to focus on the core. What I've learned, though, from just educating myself, is that a lot of women, most women, after they give birth, they have issues with core strength, right? The core is basically, for lack of a better description, kind of ripped apart, right? I'm sure you guys are familiar with diastasis recti. If you are not, Google that thing, honey. I'm not gonna try to explain it here because I'm not an anatomy expert or anything, but just based on what I've found, the abdominal muscles kind of open up in the center, right? Leaving you with kind of a gaping moment right there, right? What that does is it kind of just weakens your core. And so through strength training, there are ways to kind of recover from that and help your muscles to kind of fuse back together, become strong, and allow you to use your core the way that you used to. But not just women who've had kids have to deal with having a weak core. I was just having this conversation with my little sister recently. She's finding that she's having lower back pain because her core is weak and her back is overcompensating for the core being weak. And it's the same thing postpartum. Why do women have weak cores? Well, it's kind of cultural, the way we walk when we wear heels, the way we posture ourselves, because we're trying to get that hourglass figure. And then just for the most part, women are not as, it's not as socially acceptable for women to kind of like be going hard in the gym and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's a lot that goes into it, but for the most part, women struggle with that. So what I've done is just focus on engaging my inner core with any exercise that I do. So I don't need to focus on sit-ups and crunches. All that's doing is making the process longer and more drawn out. I focus on engaging my core when I'm running, when I'm doing squats, when I'm doing push-ups, when I'm trying to do my pull-ups. I'm engaging my core for every single exercise. And y'all, let me tell you, that coupled with eating right will lead you to a six-pack, without a doubt. And I'm almost back at my six-pack. I ain't gonna lie. I was able to achieve my first six-pack that I've ever had in my life after I had my first daughter, because of, focusing on nutrition, focusing on my protein, and focusing on engaging my inner core whenever I'm doing exercises. That was the magic. So yeah, like I said, I'm kind of close to getting back to my six-pack now, but I'm just taking it one step at a time. I am not rushing the process. And I just want to say this, when I had my first daughter, I was definitely trying to rush the process, okay? I was subscribing to the whole snap back culture and all that stuff, and I just wanted to appear recovered, you know, as quickly as possible. I did not feel like that this time around, y'all. I took my time at 41, okay? I took my time. I focused on trusting the process along the way, you know, because I knew that the formula worked. So there was no need to rush, right? So this time around, I was way more patient, way more educated, way more equipped emotionally to tackle the long process that is postpartum recovery. It also really helped me to be part of a gym with a group and to have classes, because if it was up to me to just go to like an LA Fitness or something, y'all, and just go and make up a routine, I would not have been as successful as I was. It makes all the difference to be working out in a group setting with other people who are all trying to do the same thing you're trying to do. There's people who can do it well. There's people who can't do it that well. Like, it's just a big blend, and you just get in where you fit in, you know, and then you're following a trainer who's encouraging you, who's telling you, look, this is the path you need to take to get to where you're trying to go. You know, it just makes it easier. I feel like working smarter, not harder, is like the difference there. So yeah, I could have went to a plain gym and just figured out what to do, but it would have taken me so much longer to get to the point I am now. So if you have the resources, the means to join a gym with structured classes, whether it be like a Treadfit thing or a HIIT thing or CrossFit, a cycling class, a running group, whatever it is, get in there and take advantage of that group setting, because I'm telling you, that made all the difference for me fitness wise. And then now fast forward to 6 months postpartum, I am the strongest I have ever been in my life, okay? Even stronger than my ROTC days, right? I remember when I was doing the PT test for boot camp, because I wanted to go to the mini boot camp in Great Lakes. The requirement for push-ups was, I think you had to do 17 push-ups. And I remember after 10, I was like dying. I don't even know how I finished those last 7. Now 17 push-ups is my warm-up, okay? At 41, I was 17 when I did that. You know what I mean? So I don't think age, you know, plays as big a part as we like to think. I think it's a myth. And I think as the mind gets stronger, the body follows suit. And I think that's why fitness at a bigger age is probably one of the more satisfying and more doable moments in your life to get fit, if you're fortunate enough to not have to worry about any physical ailments or disabilities. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you guys it was easier to be fit when I was younger. I can't tell you that. There's some girls that'll tell you that, but I can't tell you that, because I am the strongest I've ever been right now at 41. I wake up every day at 6 to head to my HIIT gym class. The class is only 30 minutes. I usually take pre-workout before I go, because I'm not relying on motivation or energy, okay? The night before, I will have had 8 hours of sleep. I don't play about my sleep these days, okay? 10 o'clock is my absolute drop dead for getting into bed and catching my Z's. Usually I'll grab like a banana or an orange or something like that, just to have like a little quick something in my stomach. So I go to the gym, come back home. When I get home, now it's time for breakfast. I usually have a few egg whites. I usually just buy them in the carton. You can get them from Costco. You know what I'm saying? Shake it up, pour it in the skillet. You got half your breakfast made. I almost always have some kind of meat with my breakfast, whether it's a couple sausages or a couple pieces of bacon, and I'll have like a piece of toast, but it won't be bread. It'll be Ezekiel bread, which is a bread made out of sprouted grains. It's not even really bread because it's flourless, but it tastes like bread. It looks like bread, okay? And I absolutely love it. It's delicious. I have avocado toast on there. I spread Nutella on there, all types of stuff. I'm definitely having my 3 meals a day plus 2 snacks in between, because I be hungry. Listen, when you're entertaining a hard workout routine, you are going to be requiring a lot of food. You just have to be careful about the type of food that you're eating, because when I first started back my journey after 6 weeks postpartum, I was working out like crazy. I was getting stronger, but I could look at my body and tell that I still had fat on me. I mean, the scale was telling me that too, but you know, I could like see it. My back, you know, the area behind my shoulders and my thighs and my butt, of course. And so my stomach as well, you know, it's just, I could see the extra fat on me because I was building muscle and getting stronger, but I wasn't burning fat, until I took a step back and looked at my habits and looked at my diet and realized I was drinking too much wine, okay? And I was probably eating too much sugar, and they can sneak sugar into the foods, right? It's not always just sweet dessert like snacks. Sometimes it's showing up in whatever you eat out. It's showing up in different beverages, you know, these protein shakes and stuff. Sometimes if you don't know what's in that stuff, it's probably a lot of sugar. So I had to go cold turkey on sugar and alcohol just to see, you know, just to like abruptly, you know, switch directions for myself. And y'all, that's when I saw the fat start to freaking melt. It was not even a joke. Like, I had lost 5 pounds in 30 days just from, you know, taking out those 2 things. And the funny thing about the body, the woman's body probably more specifically, is that when you're working out and you're all strong and stuff and you feel that you're getting stronger and then you get your diet right, you look in that mirror and you see cuts. Like, you see rips, okay? And especially around the stomach region, right, where we hold a lot of our weight, you really will see the difference. It's so rewarding, y'all. So right now I am still about 5 pounds away from my pre-baby weight, and I don't know if I even really need or want to lose it at this point, you know? I mean, I think I see some areas where I could, you know, shred a little bit more, but the fact that I'm gaining so much more muscle now than I ever have, I don't believe that the scale is actually giving me an accurate account of what's happening. I mean, when I look in the mirror and I put on these different clothing items, they're fitting nice. Like, these are all pre-baby clothing sizes and clothing. So it might just be that I am gaining muscle and losing fat. You know, that could be the case. So, but I don't think it's anything wrong with weighing yourself regularly, because listen, whenever you go to the doctor for a physical, first thing they have you do is get on that scale. It matters. It's important to know what is happening. It doesn't mean obsess over weight loss. It just means know where you're at every day. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There is a healthy and unhealthy way to go about just about anything, okay? And if you guys want to see more of a breakdown of the types of exercises I actually do, because they're different every day, I can do a video specifically about that, and we can kind of tackle that in another midweek video. But I don't think we should do that in this one because it's going to be too long. And so that's hugely important, right? Me and my husband are both on, you know, fitness journeys. And it's also important to know the journey never ends, right? This is a lifestyle. This is forever. So it needs to be sustainable. And that's why I don't count calories and macros or whatever is going on, right? I eat intuitively and I follow a specific set of rules for what I'm going to eat and not eat, but I'll get into that in just a second. But yeah, surrounding yourself with people who are on the same page as you matters. Friends, family, anyone in close proximity who has an influence on your decisions and how you move, those people kind of need to be on the same page, or you're going to struggle. You're going to have to make a decision, because if you're with someone who always wants to eat bad, always wants to drink sugary cocktails, and they want you to do it with them and they want to peer pressure you, you're going to struggle, and it's an unnecessary struggle. You know, I have friends and family around me, and we're all kind of like trying to live our best lives, trying to be fit, trying to keep our weight managed, and that helps. But yeah, I follow a specific set of guidelines for food, y'all, and I mostly just focus on whole foods. You know, I ask myself a few different questions before I eat anything, right? Do I know what's in this? Okay, if I'm cooking it myself, I know what's in it, so I don't have to worry if I'm making it at home. So 90% of my meals are made at home on purpose, okay? But if I'm traveling, or if I'm out to brunch, or I'm hanging out, you know, you don't have a choice. You have to eat what's there. So I ask myself, do I know what's in it? If I don't know what's in it, I take a step back and I decide, is this a sacrifice I want to make today for my fitness? Or I say, is there a better option I could choose over this? These are the questions. You have to have like that kind of internal dialogue. You just have to. And so if I decide I'm going to make that sacrifice today, and this is going to be my cheat meal, then, you know, that's the decision I'm going to make. But I do have some thoughts about cheat days and cheat foods too. I should probably share those with y'all. So I go back and forth with Anthony on this all the time, because he is really big on cheat days and cheat meals. He's like, I deserve this, I earned this. And that's fine if that's how you want to tackle it. But for me, I feel like we really should put some effort into changing how we think about bad foods, because they're not actually rewards. They do nothing but get in the way of our fitness goals, and they harm us in a lot of ways. They make us work harder. So sometimes I think of it like, this is not a reward food. It's actually something detrimental. We should be thinking of foods that are good for us as rewards. But I know that's way far down. Some people are only gonna really address that much later in their fitness journey. I understand that, but it's something to think about, you know? But yeah, I'm still there too, right? I still see certain foods as things that I really, really want. And so, you know, I have to, you know, ask myself those questions that I had mentioned. But yeah, I would love to be able to get to a place where I don't even think of those foods as rewards anymore, you know? But so, you know, say you're at brunch and it's like, you know, everybody's having all these, you know, everybody's indulging in all these different foods, and you want to go because you want to be a part of the scene socially. And I don't think you should not go, right? Go to brunch, hang out with your friends, socialize. But maybe you don't order the big entree that you have to fight yourself not to eat the whole thing. Maybe you just order, you know, an appetizer. Maybe you just order an entree salad. Maybe you take some time to drink a lot of water. That's going to actually give the illusion to your stomach that you're kind of full already. So one hack, right, is to just kind of go in on the drinking of the water. That way you're kind of diluting, you know, anything else that you eat, and you can eat smaller quantities. Still have a good time, still eat with everyone, still taste delicious food, but you leave there with less guilt than if you had indulged like everyone else. I do that all the time. Also, sometimes if you know how to navigate the menu, you can kind of tell what foods you need to stay away from, right? Should you order that deep dish slice of pizza, or should you order the baked chicken with the broccoli on the side, right? It's probably still gonna be some hidden sugar and unnecessary salt in there, but you didn't go as crazy, right? And so then you leave there with your mental state intact, your morale for fitness still intact. You know, it's a lot of questions about motivation, and I kind of touched on it, but I do want to add a little bit to it, right? So for me, like I said, I don't rely on motivation, but I do try to incorporate things that I know is going to move me, that's going to light the fire under me and get me going. That's why I always run races. Every year when I'm able to, I didn't do it last year because I was pregnant for most of the year, but I'll sign up for races, whether it be a 5K, a 10K, a half marathon. It gives me something to work towards that's like separate from my, you know, immediate weight loss or fitness goals. If you ask me, it's supplementary, right? Something to add to it. Yeah, I got my routine. Yeah, I need to lose 5 pounds. Yeah, I want to eat good and be healthy, but I'm also training for this race and I want to beat my time from last year. So I'm going to train a little harder so I can do well with this. It's kind of like a distraction. It's something to work towards, and it's gonna make you work harder than you would normally do in your regular everyday routine. But you're not thinking about it in that way because you're just thinking, I got this race to run and it's gonna be so much fun. My sister's gonna be doing it with me. It's gonna be a party afterwards. You know, you kind of get distracted. And I think if we focus on inserting little moments like that along our journey, it'll make it easier. Not easier, sweeter. It's never easier, it's always sweeter. Okay, I had to change out the battery, so okay, we're back. Another thing that motivates me off to the side is cute workout clothes. I ain't gonna lie, okay? The more you stay consistent with the gym, the more the results are gonna start rolling in, and you're gonna start liking the way you look, you know, especially in form-fitting clothes. Things that, you know, hug in all the right places, accentuate your curves, because your curves are going to improve with strength training, let me just say that. But having cute workout clothes and accessories is going to kind of motivate you to go to the gym. It's also gonna motivate you if you're going out and buying cute new stuff to try on and all that. That's also gonna motivate you because now you got this cute workout outfit that you can't wait to wear, you know. And I think those kinds of supplementary reinforcers, right, are going to help make your journey more doable and help to create more of like that lifestyle component that you need, because this doesn't need to be a moment in time, right? You know, your fitness journey doesn't need to be like this trendy moment, you know, I'm gonna be working out for like a month because I want to be cute for my birthday. You know, it needs to be something that can be sustainable over, you know, the rest of your life. It needs to be something that you can keep up. And that's why I don't do any fad diets. I don't count calories. I don't do anything that I know I won't want to do long term. It'll be doable in 30 days, but 30 years? I'm not counting calories for 30 years. You know what I mean? So I say no to anything that requires apps, you know, and different things, you know, and listen, this is not shade, y'all. I know that there's people who need to do these things. I know that for some people it's a great idea. It's gonna help some people get on track. I understand that. What I do wanna say though is for people out there who are intimidated by getting fit because there's all these apps and all this stuff you think you need to manage, I'm talking to you. You don't really have to do that stuff. I only encourage it for the people who need it and who it works for. Okay, y'all, I'm scrolling and I'm scrolling. I'm seeing a lot of the same questions, so I did answer a lot of you guys' questions, so that's good. A lot of you guys want to know more about the meal prepping and the food and stuff, and I really think that's a separate video because I need to be cooking up stuff and I need to be showing y'all some of my stuff. So I will say this though, aside from what I already mentioned about intuitive eating and thinking about it as, you know, asking those questions, is it whole food? Do I know what's in it? Whatever. But there's also a way to make eating healthy easier on yourself, and that's why I be meal prepping, you know, putting together delicious meals that I'm going to want to eat, getting those made in bulk and putting them in the refrigerator or the freezer. So that's really huge. I know sometimes we don't have time to cook, but there are meal delivery services that we can tap into. Like I said, we make time for the things that are important to us. So if you say, okay, I only got 1 hour to get this thing done, then we need to think about meals that we can prepare in 1 hour. Fish, you know what I'm saying? Chicken, these things cook pretty quickly. Keep your meal prep simple, you know? You don't need to cook a 5-course meal prep. You know, it could be 2 things. Big hunk of broccoli with good seasoning, big piece of chicken. You're done, you know? For me, I always like to do at least three things. So if I'm doing chicken and broccoli, I probably do like some brown rice or something like that. But 3 pots to have to wash later, you know, just 3 different things you're cooking. That doesn't take very long. So I think a lot of times we overthink this stuff, and I don't think that that's a bad thing, you know? It shows that you care. It shows that you're, you know, really trying to explore how to do it. But I think we need to focus on simplifying, you know, really making things simple for ourselves, as to not wear ourselves out and to end up giving up because we feel like we are not good enough. I run into this a lot with one of my closest friends. You know, she understands fitness. She knows exactly what she needs to do. She has a gym membership. She knows. She's seen results before. She knows exactly what to do. But she puts herself in a trick bag every time because she goes into it way too hardcore. She feels like she's got to go to Target and buy new workout clothes. She feels like, oh, if I got to meal prep, then I got to go buy all the containers. I got to think about all the different recipes. I gotta have 10 recipes, you know, in my back pocket before I even get started. No, you really don't have to go through all of that. Go to the gym with what you already have in your closet. Who's gonna judge you? Cook what's already in the refrigerator. If you don't have meal prep containers, put that whole pot in the refrigerator and come back and get bits of it throughout the week. You don't have to have all this Pinteresty, Instagram, photo-worthy stuff going on with yourself. You ain't even gotta tell nobody you're doing this, right? There doesn't have to be an announcement. You don't need to take a picture and show anybody else. Do what you can with what you have right in that moment. It'll get better over time. When I used to meal prep at first for just me and Anthony, I would cook the different dishes and I would put them in these big Tupperware things like this, you know, the big ones, you know. So if I made rice, I would put all the rice in this one thing, put all the chicken in another. So I only needed 3 pieces of Tupperware, not 16, you know. And then we would just eat off of that, you know, through the week. And eventually I graduated to having separate little containers, and, you know, because you have to have room in your refrigerator for that kind of stuff, you know. So I think I graduated to that point. I made things more aesthetically pleasing, you know, over time. One, because I'm a content creator and I want to inspire y'all, so I do a little extra work for y'all. But for the most part, y'all, it doesn't take all of this to get started. I feel like we do a lot of talking ourselves out of getting started because we really don't want to get started, because getting started is hard, right? It's really hard. We gotta do hard things, you know. And I think at the end of the day, we can do hard things. I've heard that kind of expression kind of going around. I can do hard things, you can do hard things. It can be done. So it's not going to be easy, right? I want us to get that out of our head. It is not going to be easy. Even when you see people who are really strong in the gym working out, believe me, it's still not easy for them. It's never easy. It just gets sweeter. It gets sweeter for them. You know, you pick up that heavy weight and you're able to lift it, but it's still hard to lift it, but they're just able to lift it. You know, I had to learn that. So I think we should be prepared to work hard, but also, you know, see the reward in that hard work and not look at it as something like, oh, I'm wasting time in the gym. I could be at home, you know, watching my favorite show. I think we don't need to think of it in that way. We should think of it in, I'm working really hard to this goal, and that's gonna make my goal that much more attainable because I'm working so hard to get it, and I am going to get it. And then once I get it, I'm going to wanna maintain it. And it's gonna be so much fun because I'm gonna be looking and feeling my best, and I'm gonna be inspiring the people around me who see me doing this. And I'm gonna be the best version of myself, and my children are gonna be so proud of me, and my husband is gonna be like, you look good, baby. You know, like, I think that's how we need to be looking at it. So I think that's all for today's video, y'all. A couple takeaways though from just looking at all you guys' questions. We're gonna get into some meal prepping. I'm gonna be showing you guys how I'm able to accomplish putting meals together and all that. We're gonna get into some working out routines. I'm gonna be showing you guys some of the workouts that I'm doing at my HIIT gym. I'm gonna put links and things below, right? My pre-workout, my gym that I go to, I'm gonna put that information down below so that you guys can look into it. If you're in Chicagoland, might be a gym you might want to consider. I think in this video, I really wanted to get the point across about my why and kind of like my story. I think that's super important as like a first video, you know, out the door. And then we'll dive a little bit more into some of those more detailed questions that you guys had. So let me know how I did for this video. I feel like I was rambling, but you know what? That's just how I am. But I had a lot of fun coming on here and having this discussion with you all. And I appreciate y'all watching the video all the way through. If you haven't subscribed, girl, subscribe so you can get these notifications whenever I randomly pop up with a video, okay? But I will definitely see you guys on Sunday with our regular vlog. And I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.